Remember, we were told if Hillary Clinton gets elected, she's going to start all sorts of wars and Donald Trump won't. And this is one of the reasons you want to elect outsider Donald Trump instead of bloodthirsty, whatever, Hillary Clinton. And fair criticisms of Hillary Clinton's foreign policy aside, it has actually been Donald Trump that has been pushing the United States to the brink of war with a number of countries, seemingly more than willing for political reasons or even just due to his own strange misunderstandings of what's going on in the world. It's been Donald Trump that increasingly is the risk, and it now appears that Donald Trump has every intention of taking the United States to war with Iran. He's alluded to it. He's feinted in that direction at different times. And Donald Trump has now executed an assassination, an unauthorized assassination of an Iranian leader, which has every indication of being the first major step towards actual war with Iran. Donald Trump hinted at this on Twitter recently. We looked at it yesterday in response to the protests at the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. Donald Trump blaming Iran, saying, quote, "Iran will be held fully responsible for lives lost or damage incurred at any of our facilities. They will pay a very big price. This is not a capital W warning. It is a capital T threat. Happy New Year." Now, his clueless followers loved it, despite these protests clearly not being an Iranian attack on the United States. And we've now learned that the Pentagon, at the direction of Donald Trump, has assassinated Qasem Soleimani, the head of Iran's Quds Force. Now, let's be very, very clear. This is the equivalent of a foreign country assassinating someone like our chairman of the Joint Chiefs here in the United States military command structure. It's really easy to get confused. We're here in the United States. We hear an ISIS leader has been killed, or we hear the head of the Iranian Quds Force has been killed. And we might sort of feel like these are equivalent things, like these are the same thing. They are not. And to be very clear, this is not a defense or a criticism of any particular killing on the merits. This is simply not the same. Once again, this is like a foreign country assassinating the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. This was not authorized by Congress. Donald Trump, you might remember many, many times, making the point before he was president, when it was Barack Obama that was president, that the president needs authorization. For example, when Donald Trump tweeted, "The president must get congressional approval before attacking Syria. Big mistake if he does not." So there are two stories here. There's the legality and authorization for this assassination. And then there's also the political side, the foreign policy side. Soleimani was, in a way, the second most powerful person in Iran behind the Ayatollah. There is no doubt that Soleimani was not a friend to the United States, much like Kim Jong-un is not a friend to the United States, much like Vladimir Putin, by the way, is not a friend to the United States, so on and so forth. But what appears to have happened is that the United States assassinated, without congressional authorization that Donald Trump used to say presidents needed, has assassinated the second most powerful person in another country. And voila, the idea of Trump creating a military conflict to muddy up the 2020 campaign, to justify his reelection in a way, is taking place. And it was written on the wall. The projection has been going on for years. Remember these tweets? Donald Trump, for example, in November of 2011, tweeting, "In order to get elected, Barack Obama will start a war with Iran." Remember in October of 2012, a month before the 2012 election, Donald Trump tweeting, "Now that Obama's poll numbers are in tailspin, watch for him to launch a strike in Libya or Iran. He's desperate." Remember Donald Trump tweeting, quote, "Remember what I previously said, Obama will someday attack Iran in order to show how tough he is." It's been a decade of projection. This will escalate violence. And aside from the legality of all of this, completely unauthorized, apparently illegal, from a practical, strategic, political perspective, I hope people know that a war with Iran would be nothing like the war with Iraq, which, by the way, was no walk in the park, but it was predicted to be by people like Dick Cheney. Iran's military is serious and formidable. The terrain is rugged. Iran's ability to interfere in foreign countries is much larger than Iraq's was in terms of its geopolitical standing. Donald Trump may be starting the worst, biggest, most disastrous war of my lifetime. And that says a lot because even just in the last 10, 15 years, we've had Iraq, we've had Afghanistan, and there have been many other conflicts during my life that the US has been involved in, some more overt, some more covert. We are in the same position, or better said, we're in an insane position hoping that Iran, which is not the most sober actor in history, we hope that Iran is the one that shows restraint because of the actions of the President of the United States. And as crazy as it is, under Donald Trump, Iran has shown more restraint than we have. And people who have been watching this show for a while, you know, I am no apologist for Iran. I am no apologist for Iranian regimes. I am no, I've said before, the people of Iran are an increasingly young, progressive population. The leaders in Iran are not that. And I have been no shortage of extremely critical. But in the Trump era, it's actually been Iran that's been the more rational and less erratic actor in that relationship between the United States and Iran. So get ready for the gaslighting. You're going to hear things like, for example, Qasem Soleimani was responsible for tons of American deaths. You're going to hear Qasem Soleimani was planning to kill more Americans. Soleimani was an enemy of the United States. Other countries see Trump as the enemy in many other countries. That doesn't mean we go and start illegally killing people. It doesn't mean that we go and start at least attempting to create military conflicts for what is obviously the possible political gain that Donald Trump associates with a conflict with Iran. This is a desperate attempt by an impeached, at-risk president to try to get himself reelected. It's a new year. It's a new election cycle, and it is a new war. That is ultimately what this comes down to. The gaslighting, I told you yesterday, I'm renewing my effort in 2020 to call out the gaslighting because of hypernormalization, because of the desensitization that we've all experienced. I would say even me, but it's sort of like in particular me because I'm in this stuff every day. We've got to prevent the gaslighting, and you are going to, the issue with Obama was congressional approval, authorization, so on and so forth. That no longer matters, and now it's, this was a bad guy. There's lots of bad guys, and it would not be justified legally or morally to just go and assassinate people in other countries. That's what Donald Trump has done. You are going to be told very different stories. Prepare yourself, arm yourself with the facts in order to resist being propagandized. And by the way, information security, responsibility with sensitive information, that also going out the window with this assassination of the Iranian Quds leader. Let's talk about that next.